My name is Louise Brodman. I had an office in Old Greenwich, Connecticut, Edgewater Architects. Always loved Maine from the first time I came over and wanted to build a project. It started out to be an oceanfront barn, which, I don't know if I should say this, but for a very long time was my password on all my electronics, but no longer is. We're about 2/3 of the way down east in coastal Maine on Mount Desert Island on a peninsula of land that faces just out north into the ocean. And it's where the national park is, Acadia National Park. The landscape has been planted so that it's very natural to the island. The North Cottage, which is what we're in, is really the main house. It's got 2 bedrooms in it. Both cottages have photovoltaic cells on the south side. The north cottage is oriented due north, and the south cottage is just about 15 degrees off, so it still gets adequate sun. I always knew that it was going to be a sustainable net positive energy project. The materials were selected so that they would last. We used weathered zinc and weathering steel, hickory floors, all custom cabinetry, shosugiban, which is an old Japanese technique of burning wood. It also has a geothermal well, which takes advantage of the constant temperature of the earth to create radiant heat. I had actually been working with a company in Atlanta for the weathering steel. And the person I was interfacing with there said, oh, we can't do this and we can't do that. And I was looking through an architectural record and saw a weathering steel project and said, oh my gosh, yes, you can do this. So I quickly flipped to the end of the article and the similar metal design was mentioned. Got the number and I called Greg, told him about our project, and he said, well, we don't do residential work. So I started talking really fast, and he said, well, this actually sounds really interesting. I'm in the Yukon territories, let me pull over to the side of the road. Asked me if I'd be willing to send this set of CAD. And they said, it looks like a really interesting project, we'd love to do it. And I didn't know who they had worked with. Had I known, I might not have called, and we worked together. They did the weathering steel and the weathering zinc. I sent them pictures of the site when it was still trees and they had lichen on them. So they created the panels to mimic that lichen feel. It's on a conservation easement. There were a lot of restrictions for the cottages. We could only have 4,000 square feet total with 3,500 square feet coverage. So I split that right down the middle and put half of it in one cottage and half of it in the other cottage. Oddly, the restrictions for the outbuildings, which are the boat shed, which we call the blowdown, and the garage, which we call the Rocky Coast, those 2 buildings only